reached out and asked if you had read the indictment. You said you read it word for word, page for page, right?
I did. I keep up. I love Jackson.
Even though they've not been in court and they've not been found guilty, it's just an indictment at this point.
They don't see it. My first statement was, think of your family. Think about your family. Put your family first.
I never thought in a million years we would have been put in the situation that we were in. Never. Because we went through our whole career doing the right thing.
It's utterly ridiculous to me. Utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's edition of the Othor Cain Show. I'm Othor Cain, and boy, am I excited about the conversation tonight. We've got a very robust conversation coming up in just a little bit about the movie Straw. So if you haven't seen it, too bad. We'll issue spoilers and all of that stuff. But I think most of us have had time to see it. I've seen it 3 times. So we're looking forward to this conversation. Before we bring our guest in tonight, though, I do want to say thank you for your support. Thank you for all that you do to help us. I got to say this to y'all tonight, though. If y'all think Jackson don't show up, you are absolutely wrong. You're absolutely mistaken. You are absolutely insane. I made a post this morning about the fact that I was in need of help at Galloway Elementary School. And when I tell you, y'all showed out today. I got basketballs being delivered tomorrow. I got snacks. I got water. I got juice. Jackson, Mississippi showed out. So I thank you for your support. I really do appreciate that. Don't take that for granted. You can still do it. Tell you just a little snippet. It's a group of third graders, all third graders at Galloway Elementary School this summer. These are third graders that have failed the third grade reading test. And so they've taken it at least twice. Most of them have taken it at least twice. A few maybe only once, and their parents wanted some additional help, additional resources to get them to a higher passing grade. But for the most part, most of those third graders have taken this test at least 2 times. And so they'll take it again at the end of this month. And I'm going to tell you something. Some people just don't do well on standardized tests. That doesn't mean that you're not capable of learning, that you're not smart or anything like that. Some people just don't do well on standardized tests. Some of them are nervous, up all night, studying all night, whatever the case may be. But don't sleep on these third graders. These third graders are there at Galloway every day from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. prepping to retake this test. Do you hear me? Prepping to retake this test. 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's a long day for a third grade kid, man. A long day for a third grade kid. But anyway, pray for them. They'll take the test again at the end of June, right? At the end of June. These teachers are working hard trying to get them ready. And these kids, they're learning comprehension skills. They're learning, how to dissect, how to match, and what one word means and how that one word, could change the meaning of everything. So they're working hard. And so your donations will go a long way. When they're in the space with me, we let them burn off all of that energy. I was like, put that book down, put that pencil down, right? And just have a little fun. So again, thank you for showing up and showing out. All right. And next week, we'll unpack the Ward 1 city council race in Jackson. That is a masterclass for anybody that has ever sought an office or plan to seek an office. The results in the Ward 1 City Council race in Jackson is an absolute master class. And we're going to break that all down for you next week. Right now, though, let's get into the heart of why we are here today. So like, share, invite folk in. We're going to have a very robust conversation about the movie Straw. I am excited about our guest tonight. Dr. J comes from behind the scenes tonight. She comes from behind the scenes to show her face on screen tonight and to share her thoughts on the movie Straw. And I am absolutely thrilled to have the one, the only, the person that keeps it a buck 99, 99, 99, 99, 99, a presenter of the time. The one and only Adrienne Coleman is here with us tonight. Let's bring these ladies in and let's talk about the movie Straw. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening. Good evening.
I am so glad y'all are here. I really do appreciate it. Tamika Garrett, I'm glad that you are here. I was hoping you got the message that we would be here talking about this tonight. In fact, Tamika reached out and said, Othor, this is a conversation that you probably really should have. You should talk about the movie Straw. So let's just, from the beginning, from the onset, let me just say this from the onset. I enjoyed the movie. It was good to me. Hey, Doug, she got them glasses on. Them glasses ready, right? As the young folks say, she ain't for those glasses, right?
Woo!
Doug,
honey.
So look, so I'm scrolling Facebook and I come across Adrienne's post, and Adrienne said, "Look here, what y'all talking?" Adrienne, let's start with you. So let's go this way first. If 5 is the highest, 1 through 5, grade the movie for us. If 5 is the highest,
0. Zero. If anybody
We have gays in the house.
Barbara Stevens, 0 for me.
That's Miss Stevens now. That's Barbara Stevens from Callaway, baby. 0.
Okay, listen to me.
All right, Dr. J, you, if 5 is the highest, you grade it.
I would give a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Somebody said a negative 0.
Look, I'm being a good nice.
I gotta stop blocking people.
No, Dr. J, don't act like that, Dr. J. Don't act like that.
F0. All right, come on, Angel. Tell me why. Tell me why a 0. Tell me why.
To me, it was typical. The movie was so predictable. The only thing about the movie that was not predictable to me was the end of the movie when it showed that she was in an actual state of mental psychosis, because I wasn't expecting that. But everything else throughout the movie, it was just like typical Tyler Perry to me. Also, too, the movie was doing too much and not doing enough at the same time. Like, it was just kind of like, all this happened in a span of 2 hours. Like, come on, let's be real. You done went through all this. Your child done got taken by CPS. Somebody done tried to run you off the road, killed you, done wrecked your car. You got tickets, and you still gonna go back to work at a grocery store?
Welcome to being black in America.
Come on. And let's be real.
So that's what Jeffrey said. Jeffrey says too much. He said absolutely too much. All right. So I would tell you, for me first, that it took me a minute. When I first watched it, I did not know at the time that things were happening the next day after the daughter had died. I did not know that at first. And so it took me a minute to get that. But here's what I can tell you. I understand that's why I say I can see both sides, because I understand when people say too much. But let me tell you something. I saw firsthand my mother as a single woman raising all of us. I saw firsthand the struggles. I mean, I had a front row seat to the struggles that my mom endured. And maybe nobody ran her off the road, but when I'm talking about that phrase, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all. That was my mom, man, and I saw it. But then when I watched the movie the second time, I realized this was so much more than just a single mother struggles, right? It was so much more than that. All right, Dr. J, I know you're chopping at the bits.
Listen, before we start, we have to give Tyler Perry his things. You know what I'm saying? Everybody out there hating on Tyler. Listen, we watched Tyler come from doing stage plays to building a 330-acre studio. You got to give this man his things. He employs black and white actors. You know, and the people out there, hey, they ain't made no movie. They better make a video. They better have a Facebook page. Where's that Adrienne Coleman studio at?
So let me tell you. So for all of those reasons, I absolutely love Tyler. But here's what I get confused about, and y'all help me. And Lisa says, I thought it was just going to be trauma porn, but I think the greater theme was the plight that women deal with and the trauma we all see, and the behaviors and situations are far more complex. I think you're absolutely right. But listen to me. Listen. For all of the good that Tyler does, I will always be a big fan. But here's what gets me, though. I think that there are so many folk that simply watch his stuff to hate on, right? So we already know what Tyler's going to do, right? Tyler will always Tyler, right? He will always Tyler. Nothing is going to change. So I guess I'm confused, Angel. Why do people flock to it just to talk about it?
That's a good question. I don't think that's it. But here's the thing. Here's one of the things that I think. I think people look at, like Dr. J said, because Tyler Perry, I can't take away from him what he has accomplished and the things that he does for black actors. Now, one of the things that I did appreciate about the movie was that he had Sinbad in the movie. You know, after Sinbad has gone through his health crisis and everything, he still put him in the movie and he did what he did for him. I totally get and understand him coming from where he's coming from. He has his own studio. And so I think that is what people look at as opposed to the movies that he's actually making. And they're not taking into consideration, like his movies, it's always something dealing with an angry black woman or a struggling black woman, or you see what I'm saying? It's typical. I'm not saying that his content and what he makes is not relatable, but I mean, it's just typical Tyler Perry to me. So that's why I just, like I said, I predicted everything that was going to happen in this movie when I watched it, except for the end part. I did not know or think that she was in a mental psychosis. I did not know that everything had happened before. And that's another thing about the movie that I was just like, you know what? I feel like some kind of way he should have put that part in the movie and built the movie up off there instead of at the end us finding out she's in a mental psychosis and the movie just ending. Like what? You know, we all confused at this point because I know I did. The darn show was confused. Like what? You know?
Right. I get that. I get that. Dr. J, you was about to say something.
You know, I think the same things that some people hate about Tyler are the things that I love about Tyler. He does an excellent job of opening up the curtains, peeling back the layers to let you see the trauma, the adversities, the pain, the fear, everything that black women, deal with. And I think people want a fairy tale. They want to see a black woman, who's successful and she's not dealing with anything. And that's just not reality. And I'm speaking from experience.
I get it. Now, I will say this. That I wish just once he would let Taraji make it, right? Just her alone. I wish for one time he would let her, although she acted her butt off, she deserves every award for this movie. But for one time, I wish that he would just let her make it. Can she just make it one time?
Because I swear he be having Taraji sprung out. Do you hear me? Taraji be sprung out in these movies. But she does an amazing job. Always.
She does an amazing job. Listen to Felicia's piece. Tyler has used his movies to help him with trauma, but only recently went into formal therapy with a professional, which lets us know that when he has experienced serious, deep trauma, we need to add professional therapy to our prayers and affirmation. I absolutely agree with that. I do think that his pieces are therapy for him, right? Because he's seen so much. And I do think that he's working through all of his stuff, with each and every production. So I agree with that. I agree
Absolutely.
Read Doug. Ask Doug how long he been a black woman.
Well, I don't know. I agree
Doug
with
says a
Doug.
black woman having a good life is not a fairy tale. I'll let y'all answer that.
I agree with Doug. I mean, it's every black woman that's a mother or that's a single mother is not struggling. Is not going through something. I mean, this is my thing. You don't even have to be a single mother to go through things, to experience things. You can be a wife, you can be married, you can have a husband, and you can have him, and you can go through things. It's just not single black mothers going through things. And it's not just single black mothers who go through things. You have lots of single black mothers that thrive. I'm a single black mother. So, it's not I always trying to put that out there. And I get it because I get what Tyler is doing, because from this movie alone, I see that a lot of people can relate to it. And he's gotten a lot of attention off this movie by itself, as people saying that they relate to it. But it's trauma bonding. And I understand that people go through, I have trauma. And I understand that people go through things and people experience things. But let's be honest. How many people do we know that experience what Taraji experienced in 3 hours?
Right, but you're saying 3 hours in the time frame of a movie. But it
Correct.
really was an entire day. In reality, for her, it was an entire day. But a 2-hour movie was overload for you, right?
Allegedly, it was
Right. Let's take Mr. Tree's comment here. Let's do that. Let's do a comparison. So she says Kanye is out here living out loud, putting his trauma on forefront and everybody mad. But it's okay for us to keep being traumatized by these types of movies. But that's a topic for another day. Why is trauma okay in cinematography, but we can't support people who are struggling in real life?
bingo.
So let's talk about that, though. Let's talk about that. Because I think there's a big difference between the way Kanye is playing out his trauma and the way Tyler is playing out his trauma. And Dr. J,
we had this conversation.
We had a conversation about that as well. So I'll hear your thoughts and then I'll share my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Dr. J, go with you. Your thoughts. The difference between the way Kanye acts his out and the way Tyler plays his out in film.
I think because it's on the screen, a lot of people don't think it's reality, but that's what I like about Tyler Perry. He takes the things that we don't want to talk about and he holds it up on the screen, and it's a mirror for us to look at, because some of the lives, some of our lives are like that. The women and the youth that I've worked with, they've been through things, you know what I'm saying? And people don't want to talk about the things that plague our community, sexual abuse, all the trauma that he put in his movies. Those things happen, but we don't like to talk about it in our community, but it's happening.
Got it. Adrienne, what are your thoughts there?
So my thoughts on that is, so when you see a movie, you're so moved and you're so touched about it, but you're seeing it every single day right here. We are seeing women walking around the streets, who have mental health issues, who have trauma. We know of people who have trauma going on, who have been sexually abused, and we ignore it. But when we see it on a movie screen, it's we're living in that reality. But when we see it on a movie screen, it has our attention.
I get that train of thought.
And that's why I'm speaking out about it.
I get that train of thought. I do. Look, I think Greg said it best for me in terms of the difference between Kanye and Tyler. Greg says Kanye is crashing out. Tyler is at least working through it without harming people. And so that's my feeling exactly, because when it came out about Kanye and the sexual misconduct or whatever with this cousin that's a boy or whatever the case may be, to me, that wasn't him just talking through his issues. To me, he was a predator. He hurt this person, to me, right? This was sexual misbehavior in my mind. It wasn't him talking it out as if he was going through some kind of counseling. To me, really, like Greg said, it was crashing out. That was not therapy to me at all. That wasn't therapy to me at all, right? Because he wasn't a victim. He was the predator. And to me, that's just a big difference between the two. Felicia says, Adrienne is right. We do need to do more than cry in the theater. It should compel us to help people in real life. I absolutely 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I think, though, what the theater does is, to Dr. J's point, brings it into focus and pushes us into having real conversations about what's happening right in front of our faces every single day. Every single day.
Oh, how long have I been telling my story of being abused, of being molested, and working with other women and young girls in that same situation? So I'm not just talking about a movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about women who I know who have lived this life. And, just because I have a doctorate doesn't mean that I don't go through things. Some people may see it as success, but it took a lot to get to this place.
I would agree with that 100%. This is not your first time talking about this. You've been telling your story for a long time. In fact, when we had the conversation about Kanye a while back, you said, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be able to tell our stories out loud, right? We're supposed to be able to share that. And I think that's what Tyler Movies does. But somebody asked the question on one of the posts that I read, Adrienne, this is to your point a little bit, in terms of Tyler being Tyler. So this person said, why do all of our stories have to be told? Why do all of our stories?
The next generation coming behind us. If somebody had to share their story with me.
Right. Let me say this, though, before you finish, Dr. J. And she was talking about good or bad, because she enjoyed the movie, she supported the movie, and somebody was saying Black folk have so many other stories to tell. And so her question was, why do we have to tell all of our stories? Why can't we focus on this and let this be enough? Why are we compelled as Black people to say that we need to tell all of our stories? All right, Dr. J, I'm sorry, I just want to add that caveat.
Because as an educator, if we don't teach these kids, the predators out there is going to teach them. If somebody had to share their story with me about being abused, or about being molested, or being raped, then, I probably wouldn't have went through some of the things that I've gone through. And some of the parents out there have gone through things they haven't shared with their kids.
Right.
1 in 4 girls are molested before the age of 18. 1 in 6 boys are molested before the age of 18. But we don't talk about that in our communities. We can't be mad at Tyler for telling that story.
Right. And again, I just want to be clear. Her point was she absolutely loved the movie Straw, right? She was responding to somebody that said, why does Tyler only tell these kinds of stories? There are so many other stories, Black stories to be told. And her response was, well, why do we have to tell all of our stories? She loved Straw. She supported Straw. She was just countering him. So again, I asked the question, why is it as a race of people, we're the only ones who want all of our stories told, the good, the bad, and the ugly? Adrienne, what are your thoughts there?
Because I think it's very important for us to know, especially as a Black culture, that it's more to it than just the bad side. It's more to it than just the negative side. Also, I feel like even the people who go through things, who have trauma or who have a story to tell, if they see the positive or if they see the good, I feel like that'll help to motivate them maybe to come out of, or to help them get through, to see that there is a good side, there is a positive side, instead of just focusing on trauma. You can't stay in that place. You can't stay in that space. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's why it's important to tell every story, so that they will know that it is success. It is a good side. It is a means to coming out of what you have been through.
Right. Calicia says to unbreak curses. That's why we need to tell, all of these stories, to absolutely unbreak curses. And can you go back to Tamika's post right there? It takes a brave person with a strong suit of armor. People are free to give testimonies and to share to assist others. I certainly do agree with that as well. So I think Doug said it's not haters; they're just offering opinions. I honestly think that there's a difference between a person giving an opinion and a hater, right? I think there's a big difference between a person giving an opinion. These are just outright Tyler Perry haters. They're just not opinionated people. They just hate that thing. They hate that thing. And my thing is, why watch it if you know that Tyler's got a Tyler and you know you don't like it, why watch it?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you know what you're doing. He's going to the bank every single time. Straw because of the haters. And Doug says people call everything hated. Maybe some people overuse that. Maybe some people do. I don't. I do clearly know that there's a difference between an opinion and hating. There's a big difference. And I am telling you, these people watch Tyler stuff just so they can criticize it. And I'm thinking, you already know you're not going to like it. You already know you don't like him. Why watch it? Can somebody help me with that one?
Now, I'm going to say this. I don't hate Tyler Perry. I think he's brilliant, honestly. Like I think he's brilliant. What I love Beauty in Black. I'm waiting for him to come on back with that.
Yeah, I'm ready for season 2 of that.
So I don't hate him.
Right.
But I just think his movies are so typical. It's so, like I said, it's so predictable. It's just so, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but of course we know you have people hating. People hate. That's people are haters.
Right.
So
right.
That's just absolutely it. People are haters, and people do hate. People, like you said, watch it just to hate. But guess what? As you said, he going straight to the bank, even with the haters. And guess what? I sometimes think, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I troll a whole lot, and it's because guess what? It runs up a check. So you see what I'm saying? I think he's brilliant. I think, you know, he might be doing a little bit of that too. And so I know he got haters, but guess what? Haters really are your biggest fans, because they're gonna watch you the most. They're gonna follow what you're doing. They're gonna have something to say about every little thing you're doing. They trying to critique you. So you're definitely right about the haters. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Why don't critique Stephen King and these white movies the way they do, you know, Tyler? You got to think about, he started from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. They had funding. He did. Mm-hmm. He just not getting funding for his movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I agree. So I agree. I agree that we do it to us more so than we do it to anybody else, right? Mm-hmm. More so than we do it to it. Like we don't see it happening in other communities. It only happens, at least from my vantage point, it only happens in our community.
That is definitely true.
To me, that's kind of sad, right? To me, that's kind of sad. That's kind of sad. That's kind of sad. But I really did. I thought he was brilliant in the way he made me personally realize what a mental breakdown looks like, right? When you're in the middle of having a mental breakdown. And I am telling you, when I watched it the second time and looked at the ending, and then I thought about the beginning. So in the beginning, she had the baby in the blanket, and then at the end, it was just that blanket. And when I tell you that sent me in. And then I watched the little girl walking down the steps. And then at the end, nobody was walking behind her. And I was like, oh my God.
Threw me off. The end threw me off. I literally watched this movie 3 times.
I did too. 3 times I did.
Because I was just trying to make sure, you know, like I said, because the first time I watched it, the ending threw me off. Because I was like, is it something else to it? You know, like, is this how it's ending? So yeah, it really, like, the ending. And that's why I said the ending kind of like, I feel like the end, he should have used the ending as a way to navigate throughout the movie. I don't feel like the end. I feel like the ending should have been at the beginning. To me.
I get that. I totally get that. But I think what he has also done with this movie, again, is to lift up the conversation on mental health. In the African-American community, that is something that is taboo, that we just don't want to talk about.
Amen.
And I am telling you, if it has not hit your immediate family, I am willing to bet you somebody somewhere down your bloodline has dealt with or will deal with mental illness. It's there, man. It's there, and it's real.
Yes, it's definitely real, and it's you know, it's more out there than people know or even realize. It's definitely real, but like you said, our culture, for some reason, we just have a problem with, we don't want to acknowledge it. You know, we don't want to bring it to the forefront, but it's definitely real.
Right. Derek Hicks, I think you're absolutely right, brother, about theaters. And let me tell you something, Dr. J, don't you put Tessa up there. So let's talk about something we hated in this movie. I wanted to believe in hitting women or anything. I don't believe in hitting women. I don't believe in calling them bees. But she had all of my whatever I thought I had and thought I knew. Because I wanted to slap or just to shake. Oh, shoot.
Catch the damn chick.
I'm talking about, now why is you giving this woman all this money and all she said was cash her check?
You know me. You waited on me before. Oh my God. That was something, man. That was something. And so if I have a critique, I will tell you that Tyler has made me hate some of the people that I thought I liked. Right? He has made me. I'm telling you, because the man, what's the man's name in the top right? What's his name? Glenn Thurman?
Richard.
Yes.
From,
oh my God.
From a different world.
Yes.
Richard.
Oh
Mr. Gaines on, was it not Mr. Gaines? No, I forgot his name, but Richard.
He was that girl husband. He was a coroner or something.
Yeah, it wasn't Mr. Gaines.
Jaleesa. He was married, one of the men married to Jaleesa because she was married.
Yeah, I know him well. I know him well.
Now that was another thing that pissed me off about the movie, and I just feel like it was so unreal. No black woman is letting no man talk to her like that. Your manager, how he was talking and handling her. Now come on, now be for real.
People do be abused on their job just to keep their job. Now I done seen some people get disrespected at these universities. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they get talked to like that.
Yeah, look, I'm telling you, I was happy when she shot him.
So was that. So was that. Good.
I was happy. Colonel Taylor is his name. I was happy when she shot his ass. I was happy about that.
Somebody said Mr. Gaines. They called him everything.
Yeah, now Richard was just out of control. He was out of order.
He was out of order. Him, Tessa, and the landlord.
Oh, the landlord.
Oh yeah.
I
know you ain't giving him money.
I know you ain't giving him no money, and you owe me rent. But she giving him change. Are you serious?
She gave him 55 or 56. She gave him change.
Are you serious?
That's send her off. But that's not when people owe folks money, when they see them going on vacation, that's how they be feeling and acting.
That's exactly right. But
that is true.
In as much as I hated all three of them, the bigger story there, though, was that anything can trigger, a mental breakdown. Anything can trigger, and you never know what a person is going through, and one little thing can send them over the edge, man. One little thing can send them over the edge. All right, can I just deviate from this conversation for 1 second? Speaking of sending over the edge, how about I'm at Foxtail and these black women walked in there with fans Tuesday. I don't know if y'all have been. It's a beautiful place. It's amazing. Food is good. It's a little pricey, but it's good. I am telling you, I sat on the bottom floor because it's a 2-story place. I sat on the bottom floor. I am telling you, I was the only dark person on the bottom floor. Now, there were some dark people, on the top floor. But on the bottom floor where I was the only chocolate person in there. And when those girls came in there to that hostess stand and they popped those fans out, you should have seen those white people. They were clutching pearls, grasping for air. and my ghetto butt started singing because I knew what that sound was. I knew exactly.
See, and if Tyler put that into a movie, people won't even think it's real.
I mean, but what is the purpose of you bringing fans into Foxtail? What is the reason? What is the? And see, people were complaining a couple of weeks ago because Foxtail had put like their dress code and their rules, and people was crying. But see, that's why you have that type of stuff. That's why you have to do that type of stuff if you want to keep an establishment decent. Because why do you have fans in Foxtail?
Absolutely. And I can tell you there were some people who kind of got pissed off about that dress code thing, but I can tell you this because the lady showed me some pictures too, because I just started having a conversation and I'm gonna ask anything, right? And so he showed me pictures of white girls that had just left the reservoir, right? Coming off of a boat into that place, and all of their behinds were out. And she also showed me pictures of thick, voluptuous black women. Titties out, booty out, everything just out, right? And so this wasn't a black and white thing. It was all of it, right? Because don't nobody want to be in a nice restaurant eating and your ass is out.
That's right. And I mean, you can't get mad at these people because they want a certain type of vibe or a certain type of environment for their establishment. I mean, everybody don't want to see that. People don't want to always go out somewhere and somebody booty hanging out or somebody breast hanging out. Like, people don't want to always see that,
Right. It was kind of bad. I was embarrassed. And now I officially want the song to be retired. I want the fans to be retired. I just want to go, man. I want to go. And then after I make that post, listen, I don't know if it was AI edited or not. I don't know because I can't hardly tell these days. But after I make that post, somebody literally sent me a video of fans at a graveside. I don't know if that was that person's favorite song, but they were doing that boots on the ground dance, pop the fans at a burial.
See what I'm saying?
I don't get it.
Popping fans at a funeral. Come on now. I mean, really?
I just don't get it. Don't get it. All right, Adrienne, $1 million question. Outside of Beauty and Black, the next Tyler Perry movie, are you watching it?
Of course. I'm going to watch it.
Expecting anything different?
Hopefully, yes. I hope he gets a writer to come in and help him create. And because, like I said, he's really brilliant, but I think he just might need a little help. I think he might just need a little help. And I think he could really, if he has a little help or he gets a little help, I think he really could create a masterpiece, honestly. Because, like I said, he's very brilliant.
He's evolving.
He is evolving. He is growing. I could tell he's letting somebody else, at least assist. He may get all of the credits that roll, but I can clearly see, his writing has evolved and that somebody has helped him along the way. Because just Beauty and Black, I don't think he's writing all of that.
That's right.
I don't think he's writing that. Because that is a freaking good series.
Now,
man.
Beauty and Black is so outside of what Tyler has done. And so that's why I'm like, oh, yeah. So I'm ready for that to come back. But
yeah.
His wigs has evolved.
I think he has evolved. I think he's growing. Lisa, you're right. I forgot about that. Lisa says he did a great job with the movie about the black women in World War II. That was really good.
Yeah, that was a good movie. Now that was a good movie too.
Yep.
That was a good movie too.
That was an absolute good movie. That was a good movie. All right, but back to the landlord though. Why was she fussing for her money in that dump?
And
they don't care how much you owe them. You still owe them.
You still owe them, right?
But wait, why when Taraji asked her, can you ask them to keep that music down? She gonna say, no, they pay their rent. They can. Maybe what they got to do with anything? Because it's other people that pay their rent here too. They still don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like what?
You can't complain. You ain't paid.
That's what she was saying. I don't want to hear no complaints until you rub me my coat.
Pay your rent. Then she didn't even get her to the next day, baby. She had to threw that lady. She told her, I knew you wasn't gonna have my money by 10 o'clock. That's why I threw your stuff out.
Sad, man. Sad.
Right.
But it goes to show how people, like I said, they don't you know, and even in the real world, like I said, when we see things and we see people going through stuff and we see people struggling, we talk about them, we laugh at them, we don't have any type of empathy for them. We are literally the landlord in the real world to people who are going through things and who are
I'm not.
struggling.
I help
So
people.
yeah, so
Yeah, I get him. I get him. I totally get it. So I think somebody told. I said the moral of the story was to be kind because you never know what a person is going through. And somebody took it a little deeper than that and said to me, Othor, it's also about being able to show empathy, right? Because empathy gives you another layer to move, to act, to do, to help, right? And I think that we all deserve that.
and another good point that you made that was relatable to me that I went back and I thought about when you said that, you know, be kind to people because you never know what nobody is going through and when they might be on the edge. And, you know, some days, and I was like, you know what, you're absolutely right. Because it's a lot of days I be on edge. And, you know, you just never know, you know, what might be that straw to push somebody over that edge. So that was something that I could relate to, a point that you brought up.
I get it, man. I get it. People are right on the verge, man. Right on the verge, right? Their last straw, literally
That's
their
strong.
last straw, literally. And
Yes,
so
absolutely.
being kind and showing empathy goes a long way. And so I know y'all didn't come to do movie reviews, but I gotta ask you this while I got y'all, since we're talking about all of these cultural things. So on the BET Awards, Kevin Hart said to Kirk Franklin, "Don't come up here throwing no blink. Don't come up here twerking. We don't want to see none of that. Jesus ain't called you to do none of that." What do y'all think about a comedian, a worldly comedian, having to give a gospel artist that kind of advice? What are your thoughts?
There would be no after parties.
So I grew up in an old school Baptist church. Okay. I grew up in a church where you had, if you were a woman, you had to wear stockings. Um, I grew up very old school, and I think now things that it has gotten so worldly. Like it has gotten so worldly, like with the gospel music and even in some of the churches, the things that they are doing. So like I understand exactly what Kevin Hart was saying, because like I said, I grew up old school, and I kind of stick to that because I feel like the church is the church, the world is the world, and it
Right.
has to be aligned because
I'm
who
with it. I'm with it. My friend told me that I'm gonna miss heaven because I try to put people in boxes, and I was like, "No, that's not a box. It's just a matter of respect."
Amen.
Because I'm telling you, I don't want to see Kirk up there twerking on stage trying to
He
tell
didn't
me how to
mean
praise
to.
God.
It was just the spirit moving in this. It was like fire shut up in his bones.
I don't know if that's a spirit.
I think that was the wrong kind of fire. I don't think that was the Holy Ghost fire.
Right. I
It
don't
was
know if
fire,
that's
all right, but it sure wasn't the Holy Ghost fire.
right. I don't know if that's the spirit. You know, God separate the church from the world. You know, that is so. I don't. A lot of these things, and they try to give it to and try to say, well, you got to try to draw the younger generation in, or you got to try to do this. I don't think that's the way that it should be, or that's the way it should go. I think that you should stick to the norm, you know, what has been and what, because you're constantly changing things. You're constantly making it even more worldly. And some of this stuff I see in churches, if I was able to visit the church and they did that, I would walk out. Because it's just
Hey,
like,
but
I
Joe
just,
says, but Joe Clay says, but Big Glow won Best Gospel Song, and she did, which is
she
an
did.
oxymoron to me.
And that is crazy because what? And I'm a Glow fan. But I just was like, even with that, I was just like,
Get him
huh?
glow.
Get 'em,
Really?
Hey, listen, but we cannot not talk about Sherry Shepherd and what's the lady's name?
Tiana.
Tiana.
Tiana
I was
Taylor.
gonna say Byron. That's her. She made that line famous. Byron.
Byron. yes.
When they pointed that out to me, I was like, "Oh my God, that is her."
That is her.
That-
That is her.
that is. But they were brilliant in that
They
movie,
were.
right?
They were.
They
They
were
were.
absolutely brilliant in that movie. The level of support, the level of compassion was just amazing to me. What are your thoughts?
I think Tiana Taylor did a good job. Her role, this was one of her more mature roles, and I
Yeah.
think she did a great job. She did really well.
And we just talk about how fine she is in that movie.
Oh yes indeed, yes indeed. I think she did a wonderful job. Sherry Shepherd, she's good anyway.
Yeah,
She's
and that
good.
was my first
She
time
did
seeing
a
Sherry though in a serious role like that. I thought she did a great job.
They
A
did.
great
They
job.
did an absolute great job. Both of them,
They really
absolutely.
did. They really.
Mm-hmm.
Now Doug said she shouldn't have won. Talk about Glow. Yeah, yeah. I
Glorilla.
was confused by that as well. I was a little confused by that. But yeah, they did a really good job, and I think that message has to be lifted up. Black women supporting other black women, but even beyond that, just being able to sympathize with
Mm-hmm.
what she
Mm-hmm.
was going through.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
that level of empathy that I was talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, when Tiana, said that I see me in you,
In her,
I
yeah.
about died.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I about died. I about died.
Because she said that she had gone through it with her mom,
Right.
and so
Right.
yeah.
And a lot of people just go to work and do their job. And if it's not a part of their policies, they're not going over and beyond to try to help anybody. But
Oh
these
no,
women did.
they
And I,
did. They did.
Right. You know what I equated that heifer Tessa not catching that check to? And I know this is petty in me, and I live on petty. My petty is always full. But I liken that to my driving through the drive-through and those little heifers not wanting to give me any ketchup or sausage. I get so mad.
they gonna take it out their check.
You ain't paying for this.
Right. They have the biggest attitudes.
Right.
Like, really? Wait,
It's
not only that, don't want to give you napkins.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but Tessa, she was just something else. Now she was just.
Yeah, they called her the what's the clothing brand? Timu? What's the clothing brand? Timu.
Wait a minute now. What they trying to say about
They
Timu?
called her the Timu Megan Good. I was like, the internet cannot be defeated. Just cannot be.
They're not gonna let her live that down. She gonna be
She would never ever live that down.
Never.
Even if she go to another movie and shit, that we always gonna know her as Tessa.
That's that bitch Tessa.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And Doug says Tessa with the ugly braids. That's hilarious.
Doug so crazy.
Doug said Tessa with the ugly braids, man. Yeah, but when I read that Timu, whatever you call it, Timu Megan Good, I was like, she looks like a little fake Megan Good.
Look, now that you said it, she really does. Yeah, she does. She does. I can't unsee it, as they say.
I'm telling you, can't unsee it at all. Can't unsee it at all. So, Adrienne, if you really had to, though, give somebody advice about all of the lessons in the movie Straw, all of the things that you dislike, but all of the lessons that were learned and shared, what would you say to them? In all honesty, what would you say to them?
As far as like a person that may be going through it, or
yeah.
Life is not as bad as you think it is. There is always somebody in life going through something way worse than what you are going through. And the world is yours. Get out there and get you some help. There is somebody that you can reach out to. Somebody that's willing to help you get through it. You can't be ashamed of it. You can't be ashamed. You can't hold it in. You have to get out there, because there is more to life. Don't hold it in. I've gone to therapy. I'm a person who suffers from mental health issues. I go to therapy. And so you can't be ashamed of it. It's help out there. And it's, it's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Mm,
It's not all bad. And I feel like in our minds, we're in our minds so much. And that's the biggest part of it. We're in our minds so much, but it's help out there, and it's not all bad. It's always somebody going through something way worse than what you're going through. Trust and believe.
I believe every Black person in America needs therapy. If you Black in America, you need therapy. We still carrying the trauma from slavery.
I agree.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree.
Right.
And
dealing in it every single day.
Right. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I absolutely agree. I am a person who has gone through therapy, and I have my therapist on speed dial when I need to check in. You know what I mean? When I need to check in, and I can feel it building up. And speed dial. Here I go. What about you, Dr. J? What would you say? What kind of wisdom would you give someone after having watched this movie?
That there's a purpose behind the pain. That God uses our pain to help push us to our purpose. Most of the things that we go through is not for ourselves. It's for us to help someone else through that same situation.
Yeah. And I like Doug. Doug, what would you say? What kind of advice would you give? Doug says, I would say, find a better job and don't let nobody. Look, now I gotta tell you, Doug, I'm with Doug, because let me tell you something. Yep. I tell people every single day, I will always have a love and an affinity for peanut butter and jelly, because I'm not gonna let nobody talk to me. I'm going through it right now because of that. But I'm not gonna let not one somebody talk to me any old kind of way.
I am right there with you. Not out nobody's job. No, you cannot talk to me any type of way. It is just not worth it to me.
And it's not worth it to me. It's not no amount of money, my mental health, none of that is worth it to me, that you think that you can talk to me any old kind of way or do me any kind of way.
That's why I can't work for nobody. Look, I knock all this shit over.
Hey, Jesus flipped tables. Why can't I?
I'm telling you, it's so once you get out of that role of not having to work for somebody, and you can actually work for yourself and you have an avenue to go in where, like you said, you don't have to put up, you won't put up with people, because it's not, like you said, your mental, it is not worth it. It's just not worth it. And life is too short for all of that.
Absolutely. Lisa says, keep seeking help until you find one person that will help before we fall apart. If you have asked 10 people, ask that 11th person.
Absolutely.
Your truth. Keep seeking help and a way out. Don't ever stop. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Mm-hmm. All right. And my boy Doug says, I'm going to cuss you and quit. And knocking everything over. I'm with all of that. I'm with all of that. I am. I'm with all of that. I say kudos to Tyler. I say kudos to him. I saw Taraji on the Breakfast Club doing an interview, and she said something that I thought was really, 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 really good. When you talk about haters, or you talk about people's opinions, and you talk about all of that, and one of the host on the Breakfast Club said, what do you think about all the flack, all the criticism that Tyler gets? And she said to them, it doesn't matter, right? He's not doing it for his haters. He gets the accolades from the people who care and who he cares about, right? So let haters hate. Doug says they label everything hating. But don't stop doing the work. Just keep going. And
that's why he's number one.
Huh?
That's why he's number one.
Number one. Absolutely. All right, guys.
You definitely have to ignore the noise to be successful.
That's right. Silence the noise. That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
silence the noise. And silence the noise from those folk that don't like it. But to this whole demonic stuff that's happening, you know, you got to silence the noise. You talk about bending your head. You got to silence those voices and silence the noise in your head as well. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You got
I
to
think
do it.
you got to do another show on how. What does that look like? You know, that's easy to say that, you know.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair. But it can be done. And so we will get that. I do think, though, we've got to do more shows on mental health, period. You know, just like we used to do all those shows on HIV to talk about breaking the silence and that it's not taboo. We got to deal with mental illness the exact same way that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to seek therapy. And again, my therapist is on speed dial, and there's not a shameful bone in my body about that, man. Not at all. Not at all.
And I share my stories on Facebook, and people be like, girl, you be telling your business. I'm like, I'm not telling my business. It's real. Like, it is real. And I know so many people who need to go see a therapist. And I'm like, people just don't understand how much therapy has helped me. People don't understand how much therapy has helped me to silence the noise.
Right.
Honestly.
Right.
You know,
right.
and therapy is really good. Like, therapy has worked wonders for me. You know, when I got diagnosed with my mental health issues, they wanted to put me on medication. And, you know, I couldn't do the medication because at the time I had a newborn child, and the medication just makes you feel like you out of your mind, and I just couldn't do it. And so therapy and meditation and God is what got me through, you know. And when my mom got down sick and I had to come back and take care of her, if it wasn't for therapy, I probably would have been like Taraji. And that is just the honest to goodness truth. And that's my truth. And that's my testimony. And so that's why I talk about it, because I want people to know therapy works. Therapy helps.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. J, you get the last words, ma'am.
You know, like we said, everyone needs therapy. Find somebody to talk to. Find you a life coach, a spiritual guidance, you know, whatever you need for, you know, to get through whatever you may be going through, because we're all going through something.
And we're going to go through something until we leave this earth, if we're honest, right?
So we need to just get good at going through.
That's right. And we always come out victorious for the most part, right? We Black folk, we know what struggle is, right? We know what struggle is. Single, married, no matter what, we know what struggle is. And so we've got to do more of these kinds of shows addressing mental health. And I am absolutely committed to doing that. And so we'll give Doug the last word. Doug says, overall, Tyler makes good movies and shows, but everybody not going to like everything. That's the bottom line.
Bottom line, Doug. Bottom line, Doug.
Doug, we can drop the mic on that one. That is the bottom line. Adrienne, I've been wanting to do this with you for so long. I'm glad we finally got a chance to do it, man.
Thank you so much, for having me on. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you. I just appreciate your realness. I live for your posts every day, so I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Appreciate it. Dr. J, thank you for coming from backstage to the forefront tonight, man.
No problem. No problem.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for being with us tonight. Remember, you can continue to support shows like this, Black Medium, giving us an opportunity to own our own narrative. You can donate $, Othor Cain. Thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
And so our goal, it's Father's Day weekend. It's that Saturday, right? Our goal is to get in, have some good workshops, get a good lunch and an etiquette session at lunch, right? If we can grab hold of one young man, and if we can partner this young man with an adult male, right? We believe this day will be transformative, because we believe this relationship can build and last. All it takes is one. All it takes is one. It takes absolutely just one. And so we need your support. We